Hello and welcome to today's Here's to Your Health podcast. I'm your host, Don Lintzman. My guest on the podcast today is Jill Kreimeyer. Jill is the regional director, or a regional director, one of the regional directors for Psychiatric Medical Care. And Jill, thank you for joining me today.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Now, there are some people listening today who've listened to this podcast for years who finally get the impression that I've gotten the help I've needed. And perhaps that is true at some point in the near future, but we're not talking about psychiatric medical care today. We're talking about Senior Life Solutions. We're going to get to that in just a minute. Because Senior Life Solutions is something that's new here, but I want you to tell us more about that rather than me tell people about it.
Perfect. Senior Life Solutions program is designed to meet the unique needs of older adults, typically 65 and older, who are experiencing depression symptoms, anxiety symptoms, or any other mental health challenges that is typically associated with aging.
Yeah, and I think those are the kinds of challenges that people do have as they get older. And just for people at home who might be listening today, or in their car, or wherever it might happen to be, a little bit on your background. I know that you're a trained therapist by nature, but there's got to be more to the story than that. So why don't you give us just a brief flavor of who you are?
Yep, absolutely. So I started with Senior Life Solutions in 2018 as a program therapist in a different hospital that Senior Life Solutions is in here in Iowa. In 2020, I joined the corporate team as the regional therapist and then transitioned over into the role of Des Moines Regional Director late last fall.
And as people think about this, this program in Denison is not a one-off. Psychiatric Medical Care has lots of programs, lots of different kinds of places, and I think it would be good for people to understand actually how big this is.
Correct. So Senior Life Solutions is underneath Psychiatric Medical Care, and Senior Life Solutions is an intensive outpatient group. We are in 176 critical access hospitals across the United States, from California, Montana, Minnesota, down to Texas, and over to the East Coast. We are everywhere. Iowa does, fortunately, hold the record of the most Senior Life Solutions programs in the whole company.
Well, I'm not quite sure whether that's a good or a bad thing.
We're a very rural state.
Yeah, that's
true. A lot of critical access hospitals.
And it is, and it's designated specifically for critical access, which would be in rural areas. On the other hand, I think to myself, we do need a little bit of counseling out here in rural Iowa. What kind of challenges do you think older adults face as they age?
So many of us experience major life challenges as we age, including retirement, moving to a new home, losing a loved one, physical limitations, loss of independence. These changes can be difficult and really hard to process, and they can lead to a lot of different feelings such as sadness, guilt, hopelessness, or even feeling worthless.
And I think when you talk about rural Iowa, people being isolated, socially isolated, I think that's where some of that comes into play. But again, really great to have you coming to Denison. We're going to talk about a little bit more about timing on that in just a minute. My guest on the podcast today is Jill Kreimeyer. Jill is a regional director for Psychiatric Medical Care, and by extension, Senior Life Solutions, which is a program we're going to start here at CCMH in the very near future. Jill, one of the things that I've always been a big advocate for is everybody in life is on the buddy system. God never really ever intended us, didn't really create us in a way that we should be by ourselves. Being able to talk about some of the challenges that we face, especially as we get older, I think is important. But from a mental health perspective, maybe you can put a little bit of a different spin on that. Tell us why it's important from that perspective.
Oh, no, absolutely. But you are exactly right. We are we're meant to be with other people and have other humans in our lives. And as we age, a lot of times that can lead to isolation. Our families maybe are moving on and raising their own families. And maybe we've lost our spouse, and that kind of leaves us, more alone than what we've ever been used to. And Senior Life Solutions offers that group therapy aspect where they can talk to others that are experiencing similar situations. And they can use each other as support groups and learn interventions from the therapist that help just increase their overall happiness.
Brief personal aside, my daughters came home this past weekend to visit. And when they left, my wife cried because otherwise she only talks to me.
Oh, I can understand that then.
She needs a little bit of a different audience.
Yeah.
Not saying, just saying.
I get it.
So one of the things that we've talked about now is the fact that we need somebody to chat with. Why do you think older adults are so reluctant to talk about some of the struggles, maybe mental health issues that they're facing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm going to touch first on the stigma aspect of it. We've done a lot of work on decreasing stigma with mental health. However, there's a lot of people that don't feel comfortable talking about mental health. So they may not be raised in a home where emotions were talked about freely. And so they can lead to reluctancy, but it's not just older adults that have difficulty talking about it. It's everybody. Most of us don't want to be perceived as weak or flawed or broken. Many people experience mental health issues that may feel like they don't want to be a burden to someone else if they bring it up. They might have that inner desire to share, but they don't want to create a hardship for a loved one by sharing what they're feeling.
My guest on the podcast today is Jill Kreimeyer. Jill is a regional director, and we're talking about Senior Life Solutions. And now that I've said that and often enough, maybe we can talk about when Senior Life Solutions is actually starting here at CCMH, where you're going to be located, what the hours are, so on and so forth.
So we are hoping that group therapy will start probably the first or second week in October.
Okay, let me mark my calendar real quick.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And our staff has actually already started. They are in the midst of their 5 to 6 week very robust training schedule. They will be located just off-site of the hospital in the outpatient services building.
Yeah, where outpatient services for rehab services is right now.
Correct.
That's where
Yes.
Senior Life Solutions will be located. And when you locate in that facility and you begin seeing groups, what types of therapy will you be offering for seniors? Because the clientele for this was Senior Life Solutions, obviously people who are 65 years of age and older. So what kind of services will you be able to offer to those folks?
Yep. So Senior Life Solutions is an intensive outpatient group therapy program. So it'll offer group therapy as well as individual therapy, family therapy, medication management and education, as well as aftercare planning. Because when we start a new treatment plan, we start looking at the criteria to discharge and what it looks like after graduation from the program.
Yeah, that was the other question I wanted to ask. So this is not open-ended. If somebody thinks they're going to show up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for a cup of coffee and be part of a discussion group, that's not what this is.
Correct. They do spend a lot of time interacting with each other, but our group is facilitated by the therapist. It's designed to teach those therapeutic interventions in a very gentle, warming way, so that way they feel safe and comfortable utilizing some of those skills outside of the group room.
Yeah. When we talk about group therapy, what does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that sound like?
So group therapy can feel a little scary to some people because here we're talking with other people that we may not know or we may know from the community. However, our group therapy program is a very confidential setting. We want to make sure everybody feels safe there. And one of the amazing things about our programs is we only have 7 to 10 people in group. So it is not a large group discussion. It is a much more intimate setting, which allows everybody to gain that comfort.
And I think that makes all the difference in the world. How will someone know? How will anybody know if they're eligible for this program? I mean, what sorts of criteria do you have to meet in order to be eligible for this?
So typically our patients are 65 and older, and we just encourage anyone to reach out if you are around that age group. And what we do is we will check insurance. We will do all of those pre-intake parts of the process, and either there'll be a referral to our group, or if they're not going to be a great fit for our group, they will be referred to another therapist that's local.
You're listening to the Here's to Your Health podcast. I'm your host, Don Lintzman. My guest today is Jill Kreimeyer. Jill is a regional director for the company that actually operates Senior Life Solutions, which is the program that we're talking about that will start here at CCMH relatively soon. I think one thing about having Senior Life Solutions as a part of CCMH is it gives us an opportunity to talk more about mental health in our community. And if there's anything I think we need more of, it's more opportunities to provide those avenues for people to actually deal with their mental health.
Absolutely.
So it's good that you're coming. Is there anything else you want to share with us today, Jill, about the program or your staff that might help people get a little bit more information about what you're planning on offering?
No, absolutely. I would like to share the staff. So it is made up of 4 different staff members, essentially. 3 will be on site. Every program has their own medical director. It's a psychiatrist that is employed by Psychiatric Medical Care and within Senior Life Solutions. But the 3 stars of the show is our program director, our therapist, and our office patient coordinator. Kelly G is our registered nurse. She will be our program director. She is in charge of those daily health assessments when our patients come in. She's in charge of coordinating their care within the program, making sure that we're checking their medications, their vitals, all of those types of things when our patients come in. Our therapist is going to be Brittany Randolph. She's an LISW, and she will be the one facilitating group as well as the individual therapy sessions and family sessions if needed. And then Jennifer Rodriguez is our office patient coordinator. She'll be in charge of all of the clerical pieces that go within Senior Life Solutions, as well as also helping patients with certain needs as well.
Why don't we double back real quick and just talk again about when it's going to start and where you're going to be located. I don't want to give an email or a phone number today because it'll be a while before we get this thing set up, and people will hear about it a lot. I promise. You're going to hear about it a lot. If you listen to the radio, look at the newspapers. If you're paying any sort of attention to social media, you're going to see a ton about this in the future. But again, just so that people can get it on their radar screens, when will we be starting and where are we going to be located?
We will be starting early October with group, and our staff will be out in the community towards the middle to the end of September, learning the community, meeting the community, and we'll be located in the outpatient services building. Yeah,
down the hill. So pay attention, folks, because we will have additional information out there very soon about the opening, and we'll have a lot of opportunities for people to experience it, hopefully, and get signed up for those services. And Jill, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
My guest on the podcast today is Jill Kreimeyer. Jill is Regional Director for Psychiatric Medical Care, but the parent company for Senior Life Solutions, which is the program that will be opening soon here at CCMH. My name is Don Lintzman. I've been your host for the Here's to Your Health podcast. Thank you for listening today. Have a great day.